In this video, I'm going to show you what it looks like to use index cards to do a daily plan with me. So I'm just going to plan out my day at the start of this video and then walk you through as I execute that plan using index cards, a card deck, and a little bit of time blocking using Google Calendar. So it started the night before on the ferry on the way back home to the island from the mainland. On the ferry, went ahead and went through the cards for the weekend, just making sure that I was updating the dividers with different moments or memories that I wanted to keep track of. And then I was also crossing off the last of my habit tracker when it came to cutting out sugar. So I made it 40 days without sugar, and since then I've incorporated fruit back into my diet, but I still haven't eaten any candy or cookies since that 40 days, and it's so good. I'm going for 66 days now to just get that, reinforce the habit of no sugar. So I already had the card deck all prepped for me when I woke up on Monday morning, so I didn't have to do a whole lot of backtracking. That's not always the case, but in this case, that's what I had done. I woke up and I already had this time blocked out that I was going to do my morning pages while I drank my coffee first thing in the morning, and then I was going to go ahead and write for my 12-week year. I'm working on finishing my novel, and I had set aside 25 minutes first thing in the morning to get that taken care of. Morning pages are 3 pages front and back. It's a practice that Julia Cameron talks a lot about in The Artist's Way and a number of her other books. In this case, I really only wrote about a page and a half, I think, in the morning pages while I was drinking my coffee, because just for time reasons, it really gets to me personally, and I think this is, I'm pretty sure Julia Cameron talks about this in The Artist's Way, if not one of her other books, that once you get to that second page, there's like a momentum that builds, and that's where it really gets beneficial. Ideally, it would be 3 pages, but it's not always. I just recently got a Keurig on the boat. We were always doing pour-overs just for power reasons, using propane on the stove to heat up the water, and I got sick of waiting 20 minutes to drink my first cup of coffee in the morning, and so my husband brought home a Keurig for me, and it was wonderful. We haven't been able to use it when we're not on the dock just yet. I'm gonna try it next time we go out. That's such luxury. I do have to stow it once I'm done with making the coffee, but that's okay. So this is after my morning pages are done. I'm pulling out my card deck to review what I have planned for the day. Over the weekend, I did get to go over memorizing the phonetic alphabet, but I wanted to make sure that I printed out a cheat sheet that would go in our pilot house. It was really fun. We were on the ferry and we were going back and forth, and my son has a pretty good knowledge of the alphabet. It's something we've been working on over the last year, 2 years, and he knows how to spell his name in it and our boat name. Things are moving along with it. I think it's a great thing to know, especially when I was working in hospitality and somebody would call over the phone and you'd ask for clarification. It's just nice to be able to spell it out using the correct alphabet. And then adding my memory for the day prior, that was Mother's Day. Mother's Day, the ferry was 2 hours delayed. I was pretty sad. It's okay. We made it home. Once the memory's filled out, I shuffle it to the back or to where it would be June 12th. And then I prep for my day, going through the priming cards. I don't know what I want to call them. Priming your day, prepping your day. Oh, goodness. This is like the daily huddle from Trevor Thrall's 12-week year for writers. So you can call it whatever you want. I'm going through affirmations, vision card, going through the routine it's a rhythm that I go through each day of the week. And so I know where to put things. This is a tracker for doing an accountability piece for little shorts that I've been putting on Instagram and YouTube, just to make sure that I'm letting you know I'm doing my pages. Even if you don't care, it's something in the back of my mind. I'm like, oh, I need to make sure I do these pages because I need to report back to people that I'm doing what I said I was going to do. As I'm going through them, I'm making batches of cards because my time blocks are set up for, what was my time blocks for this day? Let me pull it up for you. So the time blocks for Monday, May 13th were doing some gym time. Well, first of all, they were the things that we just watched, doing coffee morning pages. I wrote down in my time blocks the daily huddle, writing, and then preparing breakfast the day and doing the school run, going to the gym. And then there was lunch prep and clean that was batched together. And then video edits and voiceovers is batched together as well. And then there's some buffer time, which is a concept that they discuss in the 12-week year that I just put during the time that I'm with my kids. Because, they could be doing homework, reading, playing video games, or they could be cleaning with me. We could be doing errands. So I just did a buffer time to do a catch-all and make sure that we're able to get those things done that you didn't necessarily account for during the day. And it worked out pretty well, by the way, doing the buffer thing. Another time block was making and eating dinner. Post-dinner walk and tidy. I did put down outline cards, prepping for bed, and in bed and read. So it was more like categories of things rather than scheduling every little item out that I had to do, because my to-do list is within these cards with single actions on each of the index cards. So then I'm batching out those cleaning items. So like when I said lunch prep and clean, those things are going to be taken care of during that block of time. When it came to the chore wheel, I took care of that during some of my buffer time. And then there's a few cards that I have to contact people for, so I'm making sure that I'm batching those out as well. That's a card for my 12-week year with the outline cards. And then I have my daily cards I'm just thumbing through. There's some YouTube cards, and I set those aside as well. So that took me about 6 minutes. I really like touching each of the cards at the beginning of the day because there's something about my brain that says this is what I'm doing today, and I don't necessarily have to be referencing the card deck throughout the day. I take each of the batched cards and then place them in the order that I will most likely get them taken care of. Once I'm done, I go ahead and place all the cards back in my little travel bag that gets zipped up and placed in my backpack for when I'm out and about. And then I had a card that was for writing that I just went ahead and shuffled to the next day that I'll need that card. And now that I'm all planned out and ready to go, I'm just going about my day, making sure that I'm executing the plan, staying focused, and getting things done. This is my Instant Pot on the boat. It's my favorite thing. I can only use it when I'm on the dock, so I make good use of it while we're here. Vacuuming has been one of my favorite things to do with cleaning my house since the kids were really tiny. Usually at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day, it makes me feel really good. I like vacuum lines, and I just recently got this new vacuum. I forget what it's called. It's their refurbished version, and they were having a sale. So I got the Dyson at a very deep discount, and it works great. It's 11:05 and I just got done mopping, prepping lunch. So I'm gonna do this next. Focus on video editing and voiceovers. I have one from the weekend that I'm editing, and I'll get up. And then so I finish washing the floors, and then washing mirrors and windows I'll do with Wyatt later. When I wash the floors, I just clean off the outside of the cabinets. I made the bed, I've wiped down the bathroom. So I have dirty dishes in there, but I'm not gonna do it now because I'm gonna focus on editing. I did vacuum, so I'll go ahead and shuffle that too. And push these till later tonight. There's the chore chart. I did engage on social media this morning. There's one comment that I have left that I should answer now because it's longer and I just want to make sure I do a good job promoting myself. So I shuffle a few of the cards and then I get back to work. The first thing I do is hang up a cheat sheet over in the pilot house near the captain's helm. There's a radio that's right above there, so we often will call into marinas if we're coming in and they ask the name of your boat, and so if needed, we can always use that. The chore wheel, I ended up doing a little bit of during the time for video editing, and I was trying out different things and I didn't like it, so I felt like I wasted my time because it was a distraction. It was something that I wanted to be doing, and I should have just waited till later in the day to focus on it. Now in my video editing time block, video editing can be pretty tedious at times because it's just, you have to sit down in the seat. It's just like writing. You have to sit down in the seat, stay focused, and do the work and try and make it into something that is enjoyable, fun to watch, and that you can learn something from. And it often takes me personally a very long time to do. I use Premiere Pro. I've used it since 2016 when I was doing a lot of video editing work. And before that, I was using Final Cut, and I had to switch because the cameraman that I was working with, he used Premiere Pro in Adobe, so I had to go over to that to meet him with it. So the first thing I do when I bring it into Premiere Pro is I just clean up the audio a bit. The features for Premiere Pro and making like color correction and audio correction has improved so much over the years, and so it's a pretty easy process to get started with that. And then what I do is start to cut out any of the especially for voiceovers like this. I try and make it as easy to listen to as possible, so any pauses I try and cut those out too. I'm usually listening to this over headphones too because my husband is working nearby. One of the benefits of using a tool like Premiere Pro, if you're into video editing, is that the keyboard shortcuts are really nice, and once you get used to them, making small edits like this where you're cutting and then removing things is super easy because you use the keys. I pause to go and make, I've already made all the things for the lunch, but I have to put them together for my husband. He's training for a race, so it's pretty carb intense, and I don't eat the same thing as him. Here, I looked up because he was talking to someone, and he was doing his safety meeting. So he just had to go up on deck and FaceTime somebody to go over to make sure that he had all of the safety equipment, so he's approved to be able to do this race. It's a 70-mile paddleboard from Tacoma to Port Townsend. Pretty intense. I'm glad that he's very safe always, no matter if it's race or just going out. Then I do dishes, and I know a lot of other moms are like this, where I don't know about you, but I feel like the amount of focused work that you can do in a day is very difficult to come by, because I found, especially when I time block, that I can only do focused work about 2 to 3 hours tops, and that's during when school's in. And that can be challenging, especially when you're doing creative work, whether it's in video editing or writing. The need to stop and start again later on and have that focus and get into a flow state is just, it's challenging. I don't know about you. I do afternoon dishes. I have a card for my afternoon dishes because I tend to put that off. And I don't necessarily look at the card that says I have to go ahead and do that. It's just in the back of my mind that I know that's a focus for me. So I made sure I got that done. My kids dry the dishes, so I don't have to worry about that. And I just let them air dry on our counter until they get out from school. This is my first day eating fruit in 40 days. And it was incredible. I got so many blueberries, and the strawberries were so big, and I've been waiting to get strawberries even past the 40 days because they were so expensive. They were like $9, and they're not very good because they're off season, and it was worth the wait. Those ones were good. Later in the day, I finished up some of the cleaning items just when we were kind of hanging out. I washed the windows. Washing the windows in the pilot house is one of my favorite things to do other than vacuuming, because I love being able to sit up there in the mornings and have the windows be nice and clear. It's very challenging right now to keep them clear. There's so much pollen in the air, so it's just like a green film over the windows. It's very difficult to get rid of. At night, it was a little bit different than what my time block had set up. I went ahead and had fun with my family out in the fields after I had a meeting later on in the evening for a school organization. So I didn't get to work on my outline as long as I'd like to have. I still did about 30 minutes or so when we got back from playing, but I still had a good time. My son went on a little jog with me, and my other son practiced baseball with his dad. I hope this video and others like it are helpful for you if you're interested in using index cards as your planner in planning out your day and then going about it. Thanks for watching.